You know how last week I said episode of the year? This is one of the best episodes, period. I can't keep doing it. It like I honestly walked in. I've had a week. I walked in assuming they both weren't going to make it. And to see my boy, a character who initially when brought in didn't have a lot of love for. I said, I know he has potential, but we're coming off of Raffle and we got this guy. And his little mentor master guy who ended up falling off the bridge, I was like, that guy seemed way more interesting. I felt like a parent wanting to protect their child in this moment, man. To see my poor precious boy Oczy get tortured. And to see the massive growth that Beni went through to not only give up his research, which he actually did store it. Which that in of itself is massive development. But knowing that they're both going to die anyway, why give up the research? Because he knows what it feels like to be tortured in your eye. And he didn't want to put his friend through that. But the biggest turn of events was that what he spread wasn't his own knowledge. Because one, that's his work. He wouldn't want that to be taken credit from someone else. But also there's no way to shortly preserve that and to spread it. So instead he spread Ochi's story. Something that, it's almost in layman's terms, that could be easily spread throughout the world in a way that the church couldn't stop. It's not guaranteed. And then being hung was one thing. But to already torture our girl? Granted, she only had a tooth pulled, but I mean, the night's still young. This church is the most toxic thing. But I love the idea of how these two, who are like apprentices in the making for the Inquisitors, this dude setting her free, they both were very conflicted to begin with, because why should we, we feel like monsters, and they're trying to say, oh, there's a demon in her. It's some bullshit, of course, but we know how this type of shit happens. The idea of overhearing that this is just a way to get rid of their competition and to make more money, to have more power. The second half of this show, I don't even know where we go. I still stick to my gut that most likely the final person who maybe fully gets this spread could be her still, just because I think it'd be one hell of an ending. But man, Noax, I simultaneously can't wait for his death, but also I'm kind of fearing when that happens, because there ain't going to be a better antagonist than him. Full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see me emotionally break in real time, over there exclusively. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is like one of the best anime episodes. Production on point, voice acting on point, atmosphere, and the payoff. The payoff of everything. It's just, there's a reason why I call this anime of the year. Because the way they handle the characterization is that masterpiece level. That magnum opus where an author writes something like this, they ain't ever topping it. And that's okay, because this is lightning in a bottle. It ain't being topped. I think the initial torturing and the sounds was bad, but it's when you see him afterwards looking like the Joker when he slits his mouth. My boy, let's take a look at these two characters and their journey. We started off with a boy who basically was scared to look up at the sky. That the gods were looking down on him. Gets to finish this off with hope. The smallest hope, mind you, that his book, his words might spread. But that sliver of hope is enough to inspire him in his final moments, and he's looking up at the sky with his face brutally tortured and mutilated, okay with death. We started with him terrified of death and being able to leave peacefully. You can't ask for a more clear consciousness than that. But Badeni is definitely the most fascinating of the characters that have been developed. I loved his shocked reaction that it was a child's research that kind of started all this. But as he says, it makes a lot of sense. Only a child would dare to challenge the world like he did. But it's the idea that we had a character who wanted nothing more than for him to get the results. That if he ever gets captured, he will pin it all on this girl. Everything that he was fundamentally as a person, he abandoned in his final moments, because he truly ended up with a better consciousness. He ended up with a friend. as that's truly what Ochi was to him. And even if you do want to make the argument, and there's a way to make the argument that even if they weren't officially BFFs, he became a person who he knows what the type of pain it is to lose an eye. He had candle wax. I mean, to get it, the knife would have been even worse. Like, he wasn't going to allow that to happen. And then everything that happened after with Yolenta, and just the idea of these two interrogating her, because, you know, obviously they talked about his daughter in the interrogation, so it makes sense that they would then go look at that. And how it went way too well, and it just escalates. I do like his lie of how he freed her. So basically the one dude overhears, and then he comes back saying, I don't know where that tool is. Could you get it for me? And the other buddy's like, yeah, okay. And then obviously we run to the horse. That dude's definitely dead. She's probably going to die too, sooner rather than later. It's fantastic. It's episodes like these and shows like these that make me always come back to the anime medium, because there's something so remarkable and profound about the intensity of emotion that is able to be conveyed by these actors, the production of the animation. I mean, people like to undersell how good the show can look at times, but man, like, this is an episode that just the lighting, the reactions, it pained my soul. The whole episode, I was flinching. I was in terror. Like, it got me to feel like I truly was in this scene. And I wanted desperately to escape and for the episode to end on a hopeful note. I'm so happy this is going to be a complete adaptation. I'm so happy this is carrying into the next anime season. As busy and packed as it is, you'd be a fool not to watch this one continuing on. Definitely one of those shows that works, I think, even better in a weekly format. Not to say that the binge wouldn't be fantastic, but the weekly experience of letting these episodes just sit with you, it's that type of uncomfy feeling that you say you want to go away, but you secretly don't, because it just makes the enjoyment all the better. Your thoughts? I think most of us probably walked in expecting both would die. I had the fool's hope that maybe one of them might be able to live, but I still was expecting them both. But to add in our girl to be tortured as well, and already have the Novak plotline, damn, that sucker punch, to say the least. So thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Squealeton, More Rudd, Shadow Cyber Demon, Brandon Logren, Fate, Snake Eater 7, Direct Lord, and we also have Dylan Miles. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.